guys, what's up? It's Paige, and it's April, so I'm going to do my March wrap-up. I'm doing this in 2 different videos because I'm going to start doing, middle of the month wrap-ups so they don't get too long. So in the first half of the month, I read 17 books. I had 2 5 stars, 2 4.5 stars, and the rest, the 13 other books, were all 4 stars. So the first book I read at the beginning of the month was Revel by Shay Stahl. It was one that I got just because of the cover, because hello. Yeah, I don't think I need to explain. And the hero, he's like a rock god, and the heroine, she's a princess of pop. They've had a really, sort of, I don't really want to call it a love-hate relationship. They were basically enemies. They've always had a thing for each other, but, they've just never really been around each other enough to, not be enemies. And they're not forced to go on this tour, but they're all on a tour, and has it has rock, it has pop, it has country, and just all different genres of music. And Revel is their story, and they're kind of enemies, but then they become friends a bit, and then they still really like each other, but they hold off on doing, the dirty. I thought this book was going to be mostly dirtiness, but no, they built their connection before, and I really loved that. And I really loved how, it is a rock star book, so it definitely has all the typical rock star things. There's a lot of drinking, and there's drugs and all that, and the hero, he definitely has a problem with substance abuse, and stuff happens, and they basically, both have to take time apart and work on themselves, especially the hero, and he gets professional help. And so they really worked on becoming dependent on themselves, or just becoming independent, and they do eventually get their happily ever after, which I was thinking it was going to be a 4-star, but then that aspect of it, and the friends to lovers, enemies to friends to lovers aspect, really made me bump it up to 4.5 stars. So it was a good book. And the next book I read was Red Hot Winter by Kay Webster. She's one of my faves, and this is probably the 10th or 11th book in her Taboo Treats. You can read them all as standalones. They are interconnected, just because a lot of the characters, you'll recognize them from different books. And in this one, this follows Winter and August. It is an age gap romance, and the heroine is also best friends with the hero's daughter, so it's taboo in that way too. And basically, August's wife cheated on him with Winter's father, and so then they get together, Winter's father and August's wife, and and they kick her out, and so she goes and she stays with August, and he had planned to make her life hell, but she's just I'm not gonna take any of your shit, so I'm just no. And so it's insta lust on his part. She's always had a crush on him, and so she's always really loved him, but the love for him took a bit longer, but it was really great. It's definitely one of the age gap romances done well. Usually I feel like the relationships, when they're not done right, I feel like they're really unbalanced and unequal, and I didn't feel that way when I was reading this. Winter, she's 18 and she's young, but she knows who she is and what she wants to do, and she's really confident in herself, and she's not a virgin. She's not super experienced, but she's not a virgin, so I appreciate that, just because I'm over virgins right now. But anyways, I really loved this book. It was so good, and it tugged on your heartstrings. It was light and funny, and just, It was so awesome. So yeah, definitely give it a try. The next book, okay, it was like a short story, like probably 20 to 25 pages. It's Thomas by Kay Webster. It's only available on Eden Books, although I believe it was included in an anthology that she did with like Alexa Riley and several other authors. Notice it was at the end of one of her books, Notice, and Thomas is the son of the couple from Notice, and Thomas is like his father. And I'm not going to tell you why, because that would be a spoiler for Notice, but just like father, like son, that's what it says. And just, yeah. Although, I mean, I guess it says a stalker romance short story. So, I guess that's not a spoiler. So, yeah, he's basically had this crush on one of his neighbors. She's older, like probably in her 30s, and he saves her in their sexy times. I did give it 5 stars just because, I mean, I don't really feel right, like, rating a 20-page book or, like, having the same standards for a 20-page book and, like, a 250-page book, you know, just because for what it was, a 20-page short story, it was really good, and I enjoyed it. And it's free on Eden Books, so boom. The next book I read was Wrath, and if you saw my Isn't It Romantic update video, you know that I was struggling with this book just because I knew I'd seen a lot of people like really, really loving it, and I didn't not love it, but I didn't love it as much as everybody else. I gave it 4 stars because I felt like I could never really connect to Samuel, the hero, and just this book left me emotionally exhausted at the end. When I finished it, I was just like, I was tired. Like, seriously, I needed a break from the series. The Elite 7 series, it has been so much more angsty than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be all dark and just, yeah. And this book is definitely been the darkest. Or, well, the darkest emotionally. You know, it's really angsty. Sam, he's had a shit life. I'm not going to lie. It's difficult to read, just because, I mean, you know, there's no way your heart's not gonna break. And, yeah, and it ends crazily. It ends just like, oh my gosh. And, yeah, but I do definitely recommend reading it. You should read these series. You should read it in order. And it's not a bad book. A lot of people really love it. It is a good installment. It's just more angsty, or just like got me in the heart more than I like my books too, you know? So, yeah. And the final books that I read were, well, in this part of the video anyway, or this half, is A Series of Unfortunate Events. I read, I don't know, probably like the first 5 books at the beginning of middle school, and then I read all of the books except for the last book at like the end of middle school. Just, I could kick myself because I reread all of them, well, like the first 5, and then, I'm sorry, I have a freaking hair and it's bugging me. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyways, and so I'm sorry, hair. Just, if you have long hair, you know, or just, I guess, hair. Oh, well. Anyways, and so, yeah, I read all of them, and then I got to the end. And why didn't I finish it? I don't know. It's a theme. So I did give all of the books 4 stars, except for the last one. I did give it 4.5 stars. And I did consider giving the 3rd and 4th and 11th 4 stars, because the 11th was just like kind of really annoying, but Lemony Snicket brought it up for me. And he brought it up for me in 3rd and 4th. Basically, if you have not seen the movie or the show or read the books, it follows the 3 Baudelaire orphans, siblings. The Violet's 14, she's the oldest. Klaus is 12, he's the middle child, and Sunny is a baby. They do age during the series, but it's not like a significant amount. And the series is about their parents have just perished in a fire, and they have to go live with Count Olaf in the bad beginning, and Count Olaf's evil, and he's always trying to steal their fortune, and all the books are, you know, his schemes to try to get their fortune and them getting away and all that. And it might not sound like I enjoyed it. I mean, I did, but I mean, also, it's not a pleasant series to read, you know. Obviously, it's called A Series of Unfortunate Events. And, so why I was thinking about giving The Wide Window and The Miserable Mill 3 and 4 3 stars was because, you know, the first book was just, I liked it, and then the second book was a little bit happier, and so, I mean, it wasn't as bad, but, like, by the third, you know, I was kind of feeling like all of these adults suck. They're either useless or, you know, they're cowards or they're evil. And this is a theme in all of the books. And it's just like, or just, they just have the children do everything. And I'm just like, yeah, but help. And it's craziness. Okay. But, so I was kind of feeling down, like, in the third and fourth. But, you know, at the very end, you know, Lemony Snicket, he would leave you with hope because you'd realize, or, you know, he'd reaffirm that, you know, the children, they do have to deal with a lot of bad stuff. But, you know, they always have each other. They have their skills, and they all help each other out when they need to. And just, they have all these strengths. And as long as they have each other, they can get through anything. And I really loved that. And I think if you are an adult and you want to read them, I think you can definitely read them as an adult and enjoy them. Because, you know, I think there's stuff that I realized when I was reading them now that I probably didn't pick up on when I was a kid. Like, I mean, once you start getting into the later books, you know, the siblings, you know, they start doing things that is necessary for them to survive, but, you know, like, they would have been horrified at doing, like, when you first meet them. And so, you know, I mean, they really have to struggle with if that makes them bad, and if they're just, like, not who they were, and, you know, are they still good people, and are they, you know, as bad as Count Olaf, or on the same level? And, you know, it was just really good. I liked that, you know, that dynamic. And so I think if you're an adult, you can enjoy it for that part. And, I mean, I don't know. It's a good series. I would not recommend reading them back to back just because that's a lot. I only did it because I was afraid that I would not finish the series if I felt like if I didn't read them all in one go, I would never go back to them. And there was no way in hell I was going to reread some of them 4 times and reread some of them 2 or 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. And it's just like, no. So the last book, The End, I gave it 4.5 stars because, you know, it really got to me. It, like, made me cry, and I wasn't completely satisfied with it because, you know, there's still a lot of unanswered questions. If you're hoping everything's gonna be answered, you're not gonna get it, which, I mean, was annoying because I'm just like, I want all the answers. Lemony Snicket, give me the answers. But of course, you know, things just aren't usually, you don't get all the answers all the time. And it does end, you know, on a positive note, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. But I did, you know, I don't regret rereading the series and reading the last book, and yeah. Overall, it's a 4-star series, and yeah, so that's all of my books for the first half, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.